So it's an app, and it's a course on how to grow your brand, find your niche,
Okay.
and as well as kind of educate you on how to train people as well. So it's like a big course, social media, all that stuff in one.
All in one. Okay. How much have you spent so far?
So far, maybe 5,000.
5,000. And then have you seen any monetary returns so far?
So far, no.
Okay.
But that's just on my end right now. I'm still getting all the knowledge so I can have it perfected.
Okay. So then you will eventually make it to the 10,000 of initial investment.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think that it will take for you to make that money back?
Once I get everything up and running, I would say 2 months at most.
2 months, you will be able to get the 10K.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Thank you so much for allowing us to interview you and for your support to the Moneymalistic channel. So let's get started. What is your highest level of education?
My highest level of education is high school diploma.
Okay. Did you ever go to college?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Now, what do you do for a living?
I am on the verge of starting my own online fitness business.
Oh, nice. We'll definitely be touching more on that. So what social class were you growing up?
Growing up, I was lower class to middle class, but I would consider it more lower class.
Why did you consider yourself lower class? Like, what was your situation?
My situation was more of kind of my mom, she was going to school, and my grandma kind of had to take care of us and financially provide for us till I would say she was able to get the job. And then, I don't know, we were always just like living kind of check to check, and like it was a struggle, but I mean, now we're doing okay.
What were some of the struggles growing up as lower class?
Definitely the living area wasn't the safest. It was more of the south side of Tucson, which is a little bit more dangerous, as well as struggle meals, tortillas. Also, quesadillas a lot.
Okay, so you guys were actually struggling with actual food that you guys had to like maybe just go for like carbohydrates rather than just like getting protein and stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't until, I mean, recently until I actually started learning about all that stuff, and then kind of going my own way and making my own food.
Excellent. What do your family talk about money?
Not often. The only thing that was mentioned about money was that you should save it and just save it. That's all that was really touched on it.
What about like budgeting or like money as like an actual like, okay, how much do things cost? Was that something in the picture?
Not really, actually. Budgeting, I mean, yes, like I would get told as a kid that we're on a budget. You know, we gotta save.
Okay. What was your first interaction with money?
I remember I always wanted stuff as a kid. So I wanted this toy, something like that, and I was 9 or 10, and my family was going to do a yard sale, and they asked me to work in it and sell like sodas and chips to kind of
Make some cash on the side.
yeah, make some cash on the side to get the toy that I wanted. And I kind of had to work for it and, you know, be a little entrepreneur and just say like, oh, hey, like you need this and that, like you should get this as well while you're here. And then,
That persuasion, man.
yeah, I was very persuasive as a kid. I always had that.
By any chance, do you remember how much you actually were able to acquire during that yard sale?
Myself, from the chips and everything like that, it was like 36. So my brother and I, we were able to get the toys that we wanted. So pretty cool.
$17.50 each. That's pretty good. What toy did you get?
They were these Beyblades.
Oh, I remember them.
Yeah. It was my childhood.
But that's a good thing, you know, you actually got to learn early on that if you wanted to get something, it was actually going to take some time for you to get it, and you were going to have to work hard. So I think that was pretty creative. But whose idea was it to have the yard sale? Your grandma or your mom?
It was, I believe, my grandma. She was the one that, like, you know, if you want it, you got to work for it. And I mean, that's how it was. It was in the summer, so 100 plus degrees, and I was just out there selling chips and soda.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so now we're going to go over our first section called Dollars and Cents. We're going to ask you some behavioral questions to evaluate your money habits. So 5 random questions have been generated. The first one is, what is the most expensive item that you have ever purchased?
A cologne.
How much did you spend in?
Around 200 to 250, and that's very, very expensive for a cologne.
It is, yeah. Why did you decide to get it on the first place?
Because it typically runs for more, but I got it from a I got it at a good deal, and I was really, really into colognes at that time. And I was like, you know what, like this purchase doesn't matter because I can just make that money back because I was working really, really hard at that time. So I was like, it's fine, I'll treat myself.
Oh, okay. Excellent. I thought it was more of like, okay, you know, like I'm getting it at a good price. I might be able to like resell or something, but it was more like, hey, I know that I'm working. I'll use it for me.
That's interesting that you say that because I used to actually resell colognes as well. That was my first actual, I guess, side hustle that I ever had was selling colognes.
Tell us more about that. Like, how was it?
It was interesting, but I learned stress as well. So it was very fascinating because I would just post it on Snapchat or Instagram, for example. And, you know, I would say I had a girlfriend at the time. So it was very, very helpful because she was attractive. And I would say like, these are my girlfriend's favorite colognes, this and that. And I would post about it and then people would swipe up and say like, how much? And at the time being, I was able to get it at a lower price than retail. So that was when I marketed to like, if you want colognes under retail, I'm your guy.
How did you find this person to give you the cologne, or like were you like doing arbitrage, you know, like going to like different places, get them cheaper, or were you getting the product?
It was an arbitrage in a way. I would go online and just go hunting for the cheapest one, and until I find, because I wasn't able to get everyone the cologne that they wanted, but I would work really, really hard to find a deal on one, and then once I found it at a really, really cheap price, I would buy it instantly, and then I would let them know, and then we'd meet up, and I was able to make some profit.
What was like the profit margin?
Profit margin was about, are we saying like percentage or like?
We can say percentage, and then my follow-up question was gonna be like, how much did you actually make for everything?
I think I had it for 2 months or 3 months, and in total I made 300.
Well, that's pretty good.
300, and the profit margin was, let's say a cologne was $50, for example. I would just add 10, or it kind of depicted on how expensive the cologne was. Like, let's say it was like 70 and the original price was 80. It's still below retail, but I would just take 5 from that.
Good. I mean, you didn't make like a whole lot of money, but I think like it actually taught you a little bit more about like how to deal with people or like how to advertise something. So definitely good skills to learn.
Yes, it was more of a skill set. And I mean, at the time being, just because I was working and then I had that on the side, it was still bringing in more money. So it was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, you were using that time to create more money. You know, so that's good. Question number 2 is, what is the oddest way you have ever made money?
Oddest way, I would say modeling for sure.
Okay. When it comes to that, what type of modeling? Like, was it for like a specific brand of clothing, or was it more for like a product?
It was a fashion show that I did. And I guess why it's the oddest way is just because of the backstory, because the week prior, I was just sitting doing some computer work with my friend, and I just asked him, I just looked down, I was like, do you think I can be a model? And he was like, I mean, yeah, you should look up the requirements. I just started looking up the requirements and everything like that. And I was like, oh, I'm not tall enough, this and that. But the manifestation was there, and I kind of spoke it into existence because a week later, I got an offer to model, and I was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. And I mean, I got paid as well.
How much did you get?
I got 200 for the show.
So how long was the show?
It was about 2 hours, maybe.
Oh, wow. So $100 per hour was pretty good. And did you pursue a career on that later on, or you stopped and you decided to do something else? Why did you stop, I guess, in a way?
I mean, it was very, very recent. And I mean, I feel this year has a lot more opportunities with that to bring. And I also looked at it as a business play as well for my business, because, you know, if they see that I'm modeling and stuff like that, and I look good, I guess, I would say that can help me with, you know, marketing and stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, you can always tell like, hey, if you want to learn more about me, you know, I was in this show, or, you know, here's this commercial, or, you know, so it's like a backup story for someone to get to know you a little bit better.
Yes.
Excellent. Question number 3 is, if you could spend a full day with someone to learn about financial literacy, who would it be and why?
I would say Luke Belmar. He is a popular, I guess, influencer that has been going viral, and I've seen a lot of his content, and I really like how much he knows about money and the way he speaks about money, and his financial knowledge is just amazing. I've learned a lot from him.
What will you ask him? Or like,
I would say the first thing is, once you've acquired some capital, where's the first thing you would put it to? Because that's one thing that I feel would be the most difficult. Because let's say you have 100 grand, for example, where should you put that? How should you spend it towards investing?
okay, so it's more about like an allocation and not maybe
Mhm.
putting all of your eggs in one basket kind of thing.
Yes.
Nice, man. Now let me ask you, if you actually had 100K right now, where would you put it?
Great question. I would have to see what businesses are growing, and I would have to see their potential and maybe kind of put some money in there, or either start something new that might have something to do similar to either the fitness business that I'm doing, or start a supplement company, because that's typically what some people do. Or I'm not sure. There's different things, and I would say the biggest thing is probably invested into something like property.
Right? Okay.
Airbnb is another good
Yeah,
option.
I mean, you definitely, you're included like, okay, selecting an industry,
Mhm.
and you're like, hey, supplements, maybe the fitness, or even real estate. So definitely good avenues. All right. Question number 4 is, what would you consider bad debt?
Bad debt is debt that doesn't help you in any way.
Okay. Can you give us an example of something that, like, oh, this type of debt, and here's the reason why?
If you're gonna go buy a car and go in debt, they're for the most part depreciating assets, so I feel like they don't help you.
Okay. Definitely. Excellent. All right. Now for question number 5, how would you grow your wealth?
I would say starting a sales job and then continuing to work on a side business or the current business that I'm doing. Just stuff like that. Sales definitely is a big thing though, and I'm going to be getting into sales
Later on.
very, very soon.
Excellent. All right. So that concludes our dollars and cents section. Now, how would you describe your relationship with money?
It's interesting. It's definitely relentless because I just see it as something that I want more of. The more you receive it, the more you just want to keep going after it and keep on stacking and stacking and stacking.
Do you have a specific number in mind that once you get to that number, you'll stop? Or it's more of like, I just won't ever stop?
I don't think I would ever stop. Let's say I reached, I mean, the cool goal for forever is just the amount to be able to retire my family and help my mom and grandma out. That's like the number that I look at the most. And I'm not sure what a comfortable amount would be to fully retire them and still live good. And then if I have a family of my own, be able to take care of them as well. But I don't know. I don't think I'd ever stop. Because once you have that, you just can't. It's already wired in you, and you just keep on going after it.
What is the best financial advice that you can give based on your personal experience?
Start a business, or if you don't have a business in mind, invest in yourself and in knowledge to help multiply money and to kind of furthermore you getting into different passages to potentially make more money.
As of right now, what do you think has been the best investment that you've done for yourself personally?
Honestly, besides the business, I would say eating healthy, because eating healthy can be expensive at times, but investing a little extra for grass-fed beef instead of just normal beef, it kind of just took a different approach on the way my body and how I felt. And that actually kind of gave me the, I guess, motivation to start the business.
How much did you used to spend on groceries before you started actually investing, on food, like quality food?
Quality food. Maybe $100 a week.
And now?
Now it's more, I know how to do it a little cheaper than what I used to do, but what I used to do, it would be maybe like $300 a week.
Oh, wow.
It was very, very pricey, but now $200 or so.
That's good. I mean, you double the amount that you used to, but how do you feel now?
So much better. So much better, yes.
Excellent. What is the worst financial advice that you have received or heard of?
To save up all your money up and to buy a house to live in.
Why do you see it that way?
I've noticed that that's kind of the American dream to do. And I don't know. I feel like that's just a bad way of living because, especially now, how it's really not how it used to be back in the day. Now, houses are extremely expensive and to kind of just pour all your money and then pay a mortgage for the rest of your life, it's not a good way of living.
Are you comfortable with your current financial situation?
No.
Why is that?
I would say knowing that I'm comfortable at the moment would completely deprive me of making more money in the future or even now.
Now, before we go into our next session, I do want to touch a little bit more about your business. So what is it that you actually do? How do you get started? And if you can just, give us a brief description of what you're trying to create.
So I remember I was training one of my friends and he would come to the gym with me every single day. And he started to get results and it gave me the confidence of, oh, maybe I could be a trainer. And out of nowhere, I got an ad about being a personal trainer online. And I've always wanted to make money online just because there's so much freedom in that. So when I saw the course, I kind of started doing some research on it and I was fully sold on it because it's really a no-brainer to be able to help people online. You're able to help more people instead of being in person.
How much have you spent trying to create this business?
So I'm paying monthly and it's $500 a month, all
Okay.
the way up to 10,000.
So, okay, walk me through this. So you're paying $500 a month to somebody else to train you on how to start your own platform. Are you trying to create an app so that people follow you, or is it more about like a profile where people can like request to have you as their personal trainer?
So it's an app and it's a course on how to grow your brand, find your niche, and as well as kind of educate you on how to train people as well. So it's like a big course, social media, all that stuff in one.
All in one. Okay, how much have you spent so far?
So far, maybe 5,000.
5,000. And then have you seen any monetary returns so far?
So far, no.
Okay.
But that's just on my end right now. I'm still getting all the knowledge so I can have it perfected.
Okay, so then you will eventually make it to the 10,000 of initial investment.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think that it will take for you to make that money back?
Once I get everything up and running, I would say 2 months at most.
2 months, you will be able to get the 10K.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to go over a second section called Would You Rather? So the first question is, would you rather have a high credit score with limited savings or a lower credit score with substantial savings?
Definitely a higher credit. By higher credit, do you mean you have a higher credit score?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So yeah, definitely higher credit. And the reason I chose that is because with a higher credit, you're able to, it brings a lot more benefits and you're able to take out loans if you wanted to with good credit. Interest rate isn't too bad. And here in America, they say good credit is everything as well.
Yeah, I like how you approach of like, hey, I have more buying power for future things. So really good. Second question is, would you rather have multiple credit cards with different rewards or stick to one card for simplicity?
Definitely more credit cards, just because it gives you a lot more buying room as well.
What is your take on, just having one, will make it simple, but then having multiple will make it more, it'll be a little bit more of a task for you to like actually see, the due date, your statement balance, your closing statement. Do you think that would be a better benefit than just sticking to one?
I feel if you're the type of person that knows what you're going to do with those credit cards, it would benefit you. And if not, then definitely just stick to one.
Excellent. All right. Question number 3. Would you rather have a 15-year mortgage with higher monthly payments or a 30-year mortgage with lower payments?
Definitely the 15-year one, just because it will save you a lot more money, especially now with how expensive the houses are and interest rate is through the roof at the moment, at least from what I've seen. It will definitely save you a lot more money on the interest rates in the long run.
Excellent. Question number 4. Would you rather buy a fixer-upper at a lower price or a move-in-ready property at a higher price?
I would choose the fixer-upper just because if I want to rent that property as well, which is probably my goal if I'm picking the fixer-upper one, I would be able to fix that up and then eventually make all my money back. And then from there, I mean, on top of that, I'll make some more money.
Excellent. All right. Finally, question number 5. Would you rather retire in a low-cost area with a simpler lifestyle or in a high-cost area with more amenities?
By the time I'm retired, I will definitely just go low cost, just living life.
All right. You want to keep it simple. All right. Sounds good, man. Excellent. So that concludes our Would You Rather question. What is the best financial decision that you have ever made?
Definitely to start the business that I'm doing right now, just because it's also taught me a lot of lessons about other stuff that I can potentially use in life, like sales. Sales is a big thing, as well as just having a business. It's a responsibility, and that's teaching me responsibility as well.
Okay, excellent. On the other side of the spectrum, what is the worst financial decision that you have ever made?
I would say not starting sooner.
Okay. If you could go back in time and change one financial decision, which one would it be and why?
When I was younger, I started working at 14, so I was able to kind of start making money at a very young age, and I would just blow it on pointless stuff. And I wish I could have either saved that for a car or something like that, because at one point in my life, a car was a big issue, and it brought a lot of stress to my life.
So you actually bought a car that went bad, or?
It was a handed car to me,
Okay.
and eventually I had that car for so long, and it ended up just giving me issues and preventing me from reaching my potential in a sales job that I had, for example, just because I was driving out of town every day, and eventually it broke down on me and I couldn't no longer work that sales job.
Oh, man. So having a bad car actually made you, quit your job.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What car was it?
It was a 2004 Honda Pilot.
Oh, wow. And it just went bad.
Yeah, I mean, I had it for so long, so it was bound to be.
What ended up happening after you got another car, or?
Right now, at the moment, I am working on getting one, and then at this time right now, the one that I have is a borrowed car.
Okay, sounds good. All right, now we're actually going to go over our final section called What Do You Think? This one is about opinions and thoughts on money. Question number 1 is, what would you consider a good emergency fund?
Definitely 3 to 6 months of your saving, just because I'll give you the healthy amount to be able to live somewhat okay if stuff hits the fan.
Excellent. Question number 2. Should we talk about how much money we make with friends and family?
Close friends, yes, just because you can trust them and they're not gonna, they don't wish bad on you. And then family, I feel if you are close to your family, yes. If not, then maybe kind of just work a little on the side and then prove to them that, it's good.
Excellent. What are the top 3 financial goals that everyone should have?
Definitely emergency fund is one. I would say another one is crypto. Try to get involved in crypto.
Okay.
Or not crypto. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one.
Okay. All right. And then a third one? Or okay, sorry, I interrupted you. So why get into crypto?
Bitcoin, just because it's not going to go anywhere. And it's very, very secure from what I've heard. I haven't really gotten into it, but I just know that it's super, super secure at the moment. And it's a good way. I feel like it's the future as well.
Okay. And then finally, third one,
a retirement just in case.
Okay. Just making sure that you plan for your retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Question number 4. Should parents help their kids financially past the age of 21?
Yes. I would say yes. And the reason for that is because I'm still young and I'm not perfect as well. There's still times where I might need help with knowing something about taxes, for example, because that was taught to us in school, right?
All right. And then finally, why do most schools do not offer financial literacy courses?
I would say just because the end goal to them, at least what I noticed, I'm not too fresh out of high school, but when I was in high school, I always kind of felt like they were just trying to make us a 9-to-5 worker. And the reason for that is just you're set a time, tests, there's detention, which is kind of like jail as well. It's all just, it makes sense as well, because straight out of college, a lot of people are just straight into a 9-to-5 job for the most part.
Excellent. Finally, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Do you have any final thoughts?
I would say if you're thinking about starting a business, do it. Just because, having that responsibility, it's going to make you work hard, and always work hard and focus. Give your all to it, just because ultimately it will pay out. The universe is super giving to that. And thank you for having me.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thanks so much, Alex. Really appreciate
Thank
your
you
time.
so much.